Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Julie with Paisleys and Polka Dots, and in this video I'm going to show you how I made this cute little ladybug frame here. So I've always loved the different textures and patterns in the fabric, so I thought, how can I incorporate that without having to sew? You know, some of us don't like to sew or don't have a sewing machine or kind of intimidated by it. So I came up with this little piece together concept, and I wanted to show you how I do this. So this actually comes as a full kit on our website, and the frame, it's going to be sold separately. So if you don't want to make this cute little ladybug cross stitch pattern and you like the overall idea or concept, this is going to be available separately. So, and this is something that we just came out with, and we're now making these frames because all we've done in the past is all the laser cutting wood, but now we have a framing machine, and so we're doing these frames. So like I said, this comes as a full kit. So what you're going to receive is, you will have to paint this project. So, and I'm not going to go into a lot of the painting on how I did that. It's mostly about how I heat and bonded the fabric to the wood. So, but you are going to get, you're going to get a frame like this. So the frame itself will be put together, and then this wood piece right here, it goes through the back side of, there's some wood slot, or the slot on the back side, and then your finished piece is going to fit on the back side of that. And it's also going to come with some anchors and screws so that you can attach that. So once you have your back side all done, or your inside all done, and you want to put it inside of your frame, you can flip the frame over, set it right into the back side there, and then hook these little anchors on, and it's going to hold it in place. And later on, if you decide that you want to change the frame out, you can always use, you know, loosen these little hooks here and pull the frame out, and then put another insert in if you want to do that. So it's kind of a versatile frame. I think it's really fun. I like the dimensionality, I guess you might say, on this frame. I think it's really cute. So, and as far as the painting goes, I used, which normally I use the regular bottles of acrylic paint like these that you can get at your local hobby store, like the Delta and the Americana paints, and these will work great. But lately, for some of my larger wood product or wood pieces, I've been using what's called mud paint, and it's a chalk-based paint. So they're really thick, and they can kind of build onto each other. So for this project, I did use this mud paint, and I paint, it's basically 2 coats, and I just slapped on the paint. There was no I wasn't being precise or anything, because this frame is distressed. So even when you get your frame, it's going to have knots and imperfections. I didn't even sand it before painting it. So it comes with the raw bare wood. And then for this frame, I mixed the Glacier mud paint and the Mist mud paint to get the blue that I wanted to kind of match the ladybug writing on there. And I put 1 coat of the blue on the bottom, let it dry. I put the white over the top, and then I took sandpaper and just sanded it so it allowed the blue to come through onto the frame. So one of the other nice things about this frame is all the pieces are separate, so it makes for easy painting. So then I just painted this frame the blue color, and it can glue right to the top of the frame. And it also comes with an easel on the back. So to put this together, all you do is I take these 2 little small pieces. You're going to fit them over the edges of each corner here, and then you're going to put it in these little slots. You're going to add some glue here and here, and then put it in the slots like so. And I allow this to dry. Let it dry, and then you can attach it to the back of your frame in the middle, just like that. Super easy. And the glue that I use for this is either the Tite Bond Quick and Thick, or I use Aleene's Tacky Glue. Either one of these work really good. This one sets up a little bit quicker than the Tacky Glue, but either of them will work for you. Okay, so that's all there is to kind of the frame itself. If you have any questions on that, you can put it in the comments below, but I am going to go on to how I do the actual inside frame. Okay, so you're gonna get, so let me put this over here because I'm gonna need my pad up here. So this is your insert, and this is what it's going to come like. You've got all these different pieces. Now this middle piece here doesn't get covered with fabric. Now you can cover it with fabric. Let's say you have a smaller cross stitch piece that you're going to work with, and it's smaller than the ladybug here. I covered the ladybug with the sticky board, and then put it right directly on top of this. So, but you can also cover the center one with fabric as well if you'd like. You can even use paper. You can cover it with paper if you want, but for this project I am going to use the fabric. So what the first thing you want to do is you're going to take these pieces and this is heat and bond. Now the heat and bond does not come included with the kit, so I used heat and bond light for this, and the directions on how to use heat and bond are in the packaging, but I am actually going to explain that to you how you do it. So I took my two larger pieces, and this is the paper side. On the other side, it's got a shiny side. This is the side that's going to get glued to your fabric. So you're going to, on the paper side, you're going to want to trace around your pieces that you're going to put the fabric on. So I have two of them already done, actually three of them already done. And then you're just going to stick it on the paper like this. You're going to trace around it. And you want to kind of get close to the wood because you don't want the material to be larger than your wood piece. So, and then you're going to cut these out. So let me grab my scissors here, and I'm going to cut out these pieces. I'm just going to cut it out around to get it smaller. I'll set this aside. Okay, and then you're going to want to cut directly on, no, I take that back. You're not going to want to cut directly on. You're going to want to give it a little bit of space on either side. You don't want to cut directly on the line just yet. You're going to do that after you glue your fabric, glue the heat and bond to your fabric. Just like this. So just leave a little bit of space, but you don't want too much of the paper showing because it's just going to take up room on your fabric that you might have extra to use for another project. So I'm just cutting out all these pieces. All right, now that I have all my pieces all cut, we are going to iron these to our fabric. So here's my two fabric pieces that I'm going to be using right here. And the smaller ones, the smaller little pieces are going to go on the yellow, and the bigger pieces are going to go on the flower. So I have my iron set to like a medium setting, and you're going to want to flip your material over. So you're going to want to glue this to the back side of the fabric. So the sticky side down to your fabric. And with the gingham, you're going to want to kind of make sure that it's even, it's in line with, kind of lined up, because you don't want your pattern to be shifted at all. So I kind of hold it there for about 5 to 10 seconds so that it sticks. Okay, and then I'm going to glue my other one right next to it here. I guess I could have put these down at the same time because they're such small pieces, but we'll go ahead and do it like this. Okay, and now we will do our florals. And you can even strategically, if you have a print and you have areas that you definitely want to get your a section of the print in there, you can strategically place wherever you're going to put your paper down. So, but this one's so busy, I don't think it really matters too much. So I'm going to put, actually I'll put both of these on here like this. Okay, and then we'll iron this one on. It only takes a few seconds. I do let them cool just a little bit before I start cutting. Number one, the fabric is kind of hot, but it helps, I think, to have it stuck down pretty well. Okay, so I can put this pad aside. Oh, no, I'm going to need it again for the wood, but we'll go ahead and cut these out. So I'm going to cut these out, and you're going to cut them on the line, on your pencil line, if not just slightly before. If it's just slightly bigger, it's okay, because I'm actually going to show you a little trick once I have it glued to the wood that will make it look nicer. But I am being careful to try and cut my best on the line. Okay, now the flowers. So this is great for using up like lots of your scraps that you might have laying around, because it doesn't use a lot of fabric at all. So I think it's a fun way to use up your fabric scraps. Or if you're like me, you just like to collect pretty floral fabrics. I just love all the flowers and the prints that go together, and I like to mix and match them. So this gave me a good way to do that. So I hope you guys like this technique. I think it's kind of fun, and if you love patterns and fabrics and colors, these colors make me happy. The little ladybug is so cute. It makes me happy too. And I hope that all of you stitching it will also love it, and it will make you happy. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. Now we're going to take our wood pieces. So you're going to peel off the paper backing. Somehow, if I can get it, it's really usually not this. Okay, there we go. So, and then it leaves, like you can see, it's I don't know if you can see it in the video, it's kind of shiny. So that's what we're going to glue down. That is the glue that's on there. So we're just going to peel off the paper backs. On all the pieces. Okay, and then we're gonna attach this down. We're gonna put it right on top there. I'm gonna get my little ironing board back here. Okay, and we're gonna fit it on the wood piece. We'll do these two. And again, you're gonna just hold your iron on your pieces for about 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 to 10. Whatever you feel that your iron will have these, the material secured down onto the wood. And again, I set them aside to let them cool just a little bit. I need to get me one of those cute tiny irons everybody uses. I've got this. I don't do any quilting, so I just have my big clothes iron out that I iron my clothes with, which is very rare because I don't like to iron, but I want to get me one of those cute little ones that like pop up. And they're in cute little colors. Okay, so now the other one. And you can just hold it in place too, like I'm doing. All right, so we have these glued on and I've let it cool. You can kind of check them to make sure that like right here, I think I got an edge that didn't get quite adhered enough. Okay. Now I can set my pad aside because I think we're done ironing. Okay, so the next step, we're going to get our backer board. This is the backer board. Just put the easel aside here. Like I said, you can cover the centerpiece or not cover the centerpiece depending upon if it's going to show or not, or depending upon the size of the cross stitch that you're going to put down. This is just so that it's not left with a hole right there, so you can't attach a cross stitch piece to the backer board. So that's what this is here for. So they're gonna fit just like this onto the frame. But now they fit fine to glue them down like this, if you want to not do this next step. So you can fit everything in like this and it will fit into your frame because there is just a little bit of play and a little bit of leeway. So you can do it just like this and glue them down with your Titan Bond or your Aleene's Tacky Glue. Either one of those will work. But I go one further step and I take a regular nail file, fingernail file, and I usually will do this over a trash can, but for the video I'm going to just do it on my table right here. So I take it and I hold my nail file at an angle and I sand off, take your nail file and I sand off there's just like you won't be able to see it in the video, but there's just like a real slight tiniest of edge that's still there. And I want to take that off. So I'm sanding maybe if I put it this way. So I'm sanding at an angle downward. You don't want to sand upward. You always want to sand downward, because if you sand upwards, then you might lift the fabric off. So all I'm trying to do is take off the edge of that fabric. And as you can see, it's the tiniest of edge, but it really makes a difference. And once you get done with it, and it'll leave a little bit of dust, but you just brush it off and your fabric will be just fine. And I go all the way around these. And you can do this. I used to do my crafters projects with the wood. This is what we do. We decoupage the paper onto the wood, and then we take a nail file and we sand off the edge, any remaining paper that's on the edge. So it's quick and easy. You can just keep sanding at a downward, and you don't want to go along it this way either. You always want to just go at an angle and sand downward. Not like this, because then you're not really taking off that corner and you're just taking off the edge of the wood. So always at an angle. And it really does leave you with a nice clean edge. So I don't know if you can compare these two. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell in the video. I'm going to hold it up close here. Maybe you guys can see how this has a cleaner edge to it than this one does. And it gives it a nicer look once it's put onto the background frame. It also allows it to fit a little better and puzzle back together better. But if you want to skip this step, you can. You don't have to sand. I just like that it's a little bit of a cleaner look. And it only takes a few minutes. And I'm not being gentle or anything. I'm pretty much, you know, I'm really scraping it. Okay, now we'll do the yellow. Now we're going to take our 4 pieces and we're going to glue them to our frame. And I glue all 4 pieces at the same time. Use about that much glue. I'm just going to put it down. And I'm not too particular right away because I want to get all the pieces on first. And then I want to make sure that they're all secure in the right place where I want it to permanently sit. So since everything is pieced and kind of moves around a little bit, I want to get everything placed first. So this is meant to be pretty much a quick and easy project. With the frame only being 1 coat, it paints up really, really fast, and this technique is really quick. So it makes for a really quick project. And the Ladybug itself, it's stitched up. I think I stitched it in a day, so it was a lot of fun. Quick and easy weekend project if you want to get a weekend project done, and makes it a little great gift too. Okay, so I'm just going to fit everything in here just like so. Make sure it's all aligned on the sides and the top and bottom. You can even add trims across here. You can add a trim across the top and the bottom if you didn't want to put it actually around the actual kit comes with this red lacy trim, and I glued the lacy trim to the back of my cross stitch piece, and then of course glued the cross stitch piece down to this center wood piece. Now if you find that these pieces are wanting to shift, once it sets up a little bit, you can use, let me see, where are they? You can use these little clamps, tiny little clamps, or clothespins. I have found these at the dollar store, and you can clamp these into place. Just be sure, or if you find that the wood wants to separate a little bit as it's drying, just be sure that when you clamp everything together that they don't shift, because sometimes when you use these clips they want to shift. So you need to be careful that they don't move. I thought I had some others here. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. So, and then once you get all of the clamps on, you can also make sure that it's all secure. Just like that. Okay, you can even clamp it if you want to. You can clamp them like here, so you've got the corners all clamped nice and neat. Maybe that's better, so it keeps them together. I'll actually clamp all the way around it, but for some reason I'm short on clamps right now. But that's what I do. I just put it all together like this, and then I let it sit and dry, and make sure, like I said, as it's drying, just make sure your pieces don't shift at all. You've got a nice tight fit just like this. Okay, so that's all there is to doing the fabric on the wood. Pretty simple, pretty quick and easy. Again, here's the finished piece, and I stuck the 2 little stick pins, which are also included in the kit. The only, like I said, it doesn't come with the heat and bond, and you don't get these little greenery pieces either. But you can pick up some greenery at your local little craft store. Maybe you have some sitting around your house, just as a little accent. And I hot glued that inside the frame. So, and then once this is dry, just insert it into the back of your frame and attach your little knobs here, or your little anchors, and you'll be all done. So I hope you like this project, and if you have any questions, you can comment in the box below, or you can email me at info@paisleysandpolkadots.com, and I will gladly get back to you. If you like the content you see, please like and subscribe so you can see more of our future videos. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.